What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. This is our instant recap for the duds of Game 7s today. kind of some big blowouts. We got Chris, the Statsman Gorman, with us. We got the Lawn Boss, Troy McCroskey, and special guest, Rich, returning. We're going to give our quick reactions to the Game 7s and then some picks for the conference finals. We're going to go ahead and start first with the Phoenix Suns getting absolutely hammered at home, 153-90. So 33 points at the end. I don't think it was that close. I did not watch this game, unfortunately, due to some circumstances out of my control. So let's go to you, Joey. Give us your first reaction on that game.
Yeah, they got blitzed from the start. Chris, you were messaging us like, hey, this is interesting. Wow, this game is weird. Wow, this is a good game. And then it just stopped, and the game just went downhill so fast for them. Luka had 35, didn't play a minute in the fourth quarter. Brunson had 24, and Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench, 25 minutes, had 30 points. So they obviously shot lights out. They shot 56% from the field, 48% from three-point. Chris Paul, Devin Booker had 21 points combined on 7 of 22 from the field. They had nothing going, and it was over from about midway through the second quarter.
Brutal. Chris, what's your reaction?
Brunson, Dinwiddie, and Luka combined for 89 points. The Phoenix finished with 90. So technically they lost, if you want to go about it that way. But, like, come on, man. Chris Paul, Booker were 0-11 in the first half. You can just tell it was nerves. Reggie Miller mentioned it was nerves. They were 1-11 to start, and then they came out of a timeout. It's like, all right, now it's time to turn on. Like, hey, you can be nervous a little bit, but at a certain time, you're supposed to know, all right, let's get into rhythm, let's go. And they just never got into rhythm. I don't know what happened. This team won 64 games.
Yeah.
And they shit the bed in the most important game of the season. I've never seen it happen like this. The last time, this is the largest halftime lead of 30 points since the Willis Reed game, since the Knicks were up by 27 at half over the Lakers. This was unbelievable. Yeah.
All right, we'll go to you, Rich. Instant reaction to that Mavs game.
Kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
Chris Paul is supposed to be leading this team. Chris Paul is supposed to be leading this team to a championship, not even the finals. He led them to the finals, kind of led them. He got hurt, but you know what I mean? He's supposed to lead them to a championship. And what happened? What happened all series, actually? It's been a terrible series for him. The Pelicans just like messed them up that bad mentally that they just like crumbled. I don't know. Pretty pathetic. And then I know you guys have been talking about Luka's coming out party kind of all season, and here it is. I remember a stat pretty early in the third. I think Luka had 31 at that point, and the Suns had 29 or 30, something like that. So he had more points than all of the Suns combined at some point in the third.
At halftime, Luka had as many points as the entire Suns team did at halftime.
What the hell? And they're at home.
He made one less basket than the entire Suns team in the first half. Yeah.
Complete dominance. Good for the Mavs.
Yeah, good for the Mavs. Definitely got to give them their kudos. But to me, I kind of with you guys, Rich and Chris, I think this is more about the Suns than anything. I mean, you go back to game 2. They're taking a 2-0 lead. They're looking like they're in control. You had, was that the CP3 game where he's hunting Luka, and they just couldn't guard those guys, and they were looking
in game
like
2. Yeah.
Look
he
at
had great game 2.
Yeah, great game 2. Look at this was going to be maybe 5 games, at the most. And then they go to Dallas. They dropped a 2. Pretty, got handled pretty easily by Dallas in Dallas, and it's just a kind of a weird series. I mean, they come back to Phoenix, didn't have that. A recovery game, win pretty comfortably in Phoenix, go back to Dallas looking to close it out, didn't do that. And then in obviously game 7, you have this happen. So, and with that performance from Booker and CP3 in particular, I mean, there's just no excuse for that at all in a game 7 when you're the best team in basketball. So,
it was unbelievable.
That's unbelievable, man.
And it's just, it's kind of terrible when you're known for not being able to win a championship, and people already question your playoff performance, and then you do this. That hurts.
Harden should be sending a thank you card to CP3 for distracting him.
Oh, for real.
And Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers, yes.
Doc's got his job. It was going to
Say,
keep his job.
Thank you, CP3, for doing that, because now I'm not the number one topic at the offseason. So, yeah, we'll definitely, maybe in the offseason we'll definitely have to get to kind of like CP3's legacy and what does this do, and maybe looking forward for the Suns next season. I mean, they're still bringing the same team back. So
Point God.
We'll see.
Point bum.
Real point bum tonight. So, but hey, good on the Mavs. They'll be facing Golden State in the next round, so we'll see how that goes.
One other thing before we move on.
Yeah,
I wanted to. I wrote something. I just want to get out about Devin Booker. I have actual empathy for Devin Booker. He doesn't know who I am, and he never will know who I am. He's dating Kylie Jenner. She's a billionaire. Fantastic. He's doing well. He's 25, living his best life. But man, tonight I feel bad. I feel bad for him. He got 11 points on 3 of 14 in 36 minutes. This is the most embarrassing performance I've ever seen from a professional athlete in any kind of, or a professional really in any kind of setting, whether it's a basketball game, in a business meeting that's gone wrong, or someone giving a bad presentation. Like this was so much worse than anything else I've ever seen. This is a performance that I will be thinking about when I am in an embarrassing situation, just to remind myself.
This is not that bad.
That, it's not as bad as Devin Booker in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals against the Dallas Mavericks.
Second round.
Not the Western Conference Finals.
Sorry, the Western Conference semifinals.
Semifinals.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you had to write that down.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a fair point for as far as like, to me, the thing that stuck with me since last season is that moment where the confetti's falling down in the championship and he has that, he untucks the jersey and goes, damn. Like, to me, that looked like, I was very excited for this guy coming back this season. I've said this before a couple times. Like, this guy is ready to go. That look of just like, hey, I belong here, blah, blah, blah. And then to kind of not show up in a Game 7 is incredibly disappointing for him, I'm sure, and for Suns fans. So what are you going to do, man?
Hey, Skylar, if you're watching, go Mavs, go Luka, and also Caleb from like episode 3. Go Mavs.
Caleb, go Mavs.
Over a year ago at this point. My goodness.
Go Mavs.
All right, well, let's move on to the other domination of the day. It didn't take, it didn't start in the first quarter. It at least went through to the third quarter was interesting, and then the Celtics kind of blew it open there in the third, and then never really looked back. Boston taking Game 7 over Milwaukee. Another one. Chris, let's start with you this time. What did you see in that game from Boston, from Milwaukee?
Yeah, it was the first half was a fantastic first half. I was texting you guys. I was excited. I was like, this is going to be a great game. I can't wait to watch the second half of this game. I didn't say that, but like that's essentially what I was thinking. And then, the third quarter blew up. But really, it kind of blew up with 30 seconds left in the first half, when Marcus Smart stole the ball and then flailed, saying like, hey, I'm taking a half court shot here. Give me 3 free throws. And he got it. And I was like, okay, kind of. But like,
there were only 4 seconds left. So technically he probably was heaving it, right?
There was 9.
Yeah,
but regardless. You know why he was doing it. The way his arms weren't flailing because of what Giannis did. He was doing it because he was trying to draw a foul. And that's a problem I have with basketball that I don't want to get into right now. But the biggest story with this game isn't even what Marcus Smart did, wasn't what Grant Williams did. It's what the Milwaukee guards could not do, and that was to hit a goddamn 3-pointer. They went 0 for 15 when it mattered. I think it was like over 19 overall.
Yeah.
Maybe it was still over 15.
They hit a couple early.
Not the Bobby Portis led the team in 3 points made with 2.
Giannis had 1 and Brooke had 1.
Yeah,
and
that was the team. They were 4 of 33, and this game is actually really, when you look at the box, when you look at the stats, really reminiscent of Game 1 of this series. The main difference being that Milwaukee went 12 of 34 from 3, while in this game they went 4 of 33. You hit those 8 threes, that's 24 points. That's a 24-point swing. It's a completely different game if you make some threes here and there. So, I don't know. It was just. They just missed their threes. At the end of the day, it was that simple, in my opinion.
Joey, what did you see, man?
We talked about the 3-point difference and discrepancies throughout this entire series, and it reared its ugly head in a real bad way at the worst possible time. Chris said 433. That's a balmy 12%. On the other side, the Celtics couldn't miss from three. It seemed like Grant Williams set was it a Game 7 record for, or tied the Game 7 record for most 3-point attempts or most threes made in a game at 7. Not the likely person you would think doing that. Peyton Pritchard, 4 of 6 from 3. They just had it cooking. Grayson Allen, 1 point in the starting lineup for the Bucks, played 22 minutes. Pat Connaughton had 2 points. It was bad all around. Giannis looked gassy. He had 8 points in the second half. He was missing a lot of those easy layups. We talked way back in Game 1 or Game 2, right? Like Giannis was doing it all. It was 1 against 5, and if they were going to play that way for the series, it was going to take its toll, and it definitely did. He played 43 minutes tonight. And it's just, it kind of had all the markings throughout the series, right? That this was a possibility that could happen. And it did. It kind of came up at the worst possible time for them. They just didn't have any continuity. They missed Middleton. I don't know if they still win this series with Middleton.
They win this game in 5. They win the series in 5.
Yeah, the Middleton loss is huge. I mean, you can't really fault. I mean, you can't hold Boston to that. I mean, Boston beat the team that was in front of them, but you had George Hill and Grayson Allen out there just.
It's just because they took it to 7, and I know they stole Game 5, really, but like I still think this will be over in 5 or 6 with Middleton. But
it completely changes the rotation with Middleton in there. Richie, what do you think, man?
You guys touched on a lot of the points I was going to bring up. The Bucks supporting cast just couldn't hit shots. They can't create shots for themselves, which really hurts them. So it's not like Giannis can do it all himself. Because even Giannis's game, I mean, at times, obviously, the 50-point game and stuff, he could completely take over. But it's not like he has like the wettest shot in the game where he can just get a shot off at any point. He has to work super hard to get his shots, and then he creates for other people, but if they're not hitting their shots, then it's not helping anyone. So if he doesn't, I think it, like you guys all said, he had to do it all series, and it really took a toll on him. I think the Celtics played phenomenal. Jason Tatum
played great,
unreal. He is amazing. Tatum will go head to head with any superstar, I guess,
absolutely,
co-superstar in this league, because he is himself a superstar too. How does he get his shots up over Giannis? Like they zoomed in on him shooting over Giannis is like, it's like a Dirk rainbow from the 3-point right over him. It's
his release is so early.
And he has no fear. I think the Celtics are a really legit team, and they're going to get to the finals. I agree. I mean, they were great.
I think the Heat's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. I mean, I don't think they have enough offense to play with these guys.
I agree.
But I think that's probably my biggest takeaway, Rich, you hit on it, is Tatum's an absolute superstar, like a stud. I mean, he went toe-to-toe with Giannis, who's arguably the best player in the game currently. And, he matched him, basically shot for shot, and even better from the 3-point line. And he was just getting at will, getting to his spots, getting to the paint, getting his 3-pointers off on everybody. It did not matter. I mean, Tatum was unreal. He was especially the last handful of games of the series, where he almost kind of willed the Celtics over any kind of run that the Bucks put up. Anytime the Bucks would kind of get it close in some of these games, Tatum was there to hit a 3 or make a clutch play. So, I mean, sky's the limit for that guy. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. Anything else on this series from you guys? Joe, you got something?
Yes and no. I'm happy. Like, I feel like I'm happy. I'm happy that Milwaukee lost. It just makes me feel better as a Bulls fan. I feel like I've been avenged. Grayson Allen with just a really, really bad series just makes me feel good deep down inside. And then Bobby missing that dunk. I don't know why it made me happy. And I'm over it. I hope Miami wins. I don't think they're going to, but I want to see Jimmy get something out of, I think after all the turmoil and all the stuff that he's gone through and kind of brought on himself, he's found a good spot. They've got a decent team, and I kind of want to see Jimmy get one here.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I definitely, I told you, Joey, I found the one basketball team that I cannot root for, and it's the Boston Celtics, because I absolutely love this team as like the players. Marcus Smart is a freaking warrior. I would love to have that guy on my team. Tatum is a beast, but I just can't root for Boston. I just can't.
It was hard for me. This series was really.
There was a moment. There was a moment where Tatum got his third foul call, and it was clearly a charge, but they panned it to a Boston fan, and he was like, "There's no way! There's no way!" And I'm like, "It was clearly a charge. Like,
yeah, it's clearly a
charge. Who are you
Yeah.
people?"
Yeah.
I think it's that's anytime I would start to feel good about the Boston team, they'd pan around the arena, and I'd be like, "Yep, nope, can't root for this team."
But at least their fans showed up. The Miami fans are just pathetic.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
True. Hey, you know what?
There's no good. Should we move on to the?
Yeah, we can move on to the conference finals prediction. So our matchups are going to be Mavericks versus Golden State. Wild matchup there, and Heat versus Boston. Holy crap, dude! This is I don't know if anybody was calling these matchups, but a 1 and 2, and then a 3 versus the 4, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was calling the West.
West, I think you did.
I had the West because I had the Mavs. I still
you also picked the Warriors to be the 8th seed, so
stop it. I guess I didn't know. I'm lying because I didn't like the Warriors out of Denver or whatever.
So let's go around the table. Start with you, Richie, this time. Go around. Start with Eastern Conference. Give us your prediction, and then go to the Western Conference.
Okay. I think Celtics are going to take it. I think they have more offensive power. I mean, if Grant Williams shoots like this, then what are they going to do? Miami does have. I feel like Miami is almost all great role players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas. And Jimmy Butler is amazing too. Some reason I just can't go all in on his offense. Like maybe I've just seen him be too streaky on that side of the court, so I can't like fully invest in him being able to take this team to the finals yet. Whereas Jason Tatum is to me is proved, right, and he seems more natural at it. Whereas Jimmy is like a defensive minded player first. Yeah. So, and Jaylen Brown with that supporting all-star, like I just see their offense. Al Horford. I mean, I think the Celtics are going to take it, and they're like even on defense too. So they're both.
It's going to be a real grind of a game too. I think it's
going to be a great series.
I think so too. What do you think? Boston in 6, Boston in 7.
Oh, okay. Boston sorry. So let's do Boston in 6. Yeah, Boston in 6.
All right. Well, actually, let's just keep going with the East. Joey, what do you think, man? Boston Heat.
I'm going to take Miami in 7. I think the offense is going to be stronger on Boston side. I think the defense is going to be stronger, obviously, from Miami side. Smart is going to be good. I'm curious to see the matchup with Bam. Bam hasn't had a great playoff so far this season. It all kind of depends what they're going to get out of Al Horford. It's a different defense you have to play against Bam than Giannis, right? Bam's a little bit more, not athletic, but, he's a little bit more nimble, I guess you could say. He's not going to bruise you and, kind of just pound you down, where you can kind of just plant your feet and let him, hit those chops into your chest and take charges. So I think that's your X factor, and I think it might pay out for them. So, yeah, Miami in 7 for me.
Chris?
I'm with Joey. Miami in 7. The 70% of this pick is because I just don't want Boston.
Yeah.
Because to Richie's point, Boston is the better team. Tatum and Brown and Smart are better than Butler, Adebayo, and whoever maybe Hero, I guess, the third option, Lowry.
Yeah.
Depending if Lowry hasn't played,
Hero's an interesting player, but
Richie brought up a good point with Miami with Strus, Oladipo, Tucker, Duncan. They're all good role players. They all have their moments, but they're not like guys you're going to rely on each and every night. You kind of hope one of them hit, but there might be a night that they don't hit. But okay, sorry. I'm picking Miami. I like Jimmy Butler. He's been the best player in the playoffs so far. I'm excited to see what Jason Tatum can do against him. I'm excited for this matchup. Al Horford's been playing out of his mind. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to continue into the series. I don't think we're going to get a 30-point Al Horford game, even a 20-point Al Horford game. If we do, I'll eat it. I'm not going to do anything, but I don't think Al Horford is going to get over 20 points in a game this year or this series.
So Heat.
Yeah. So Heat in 7.
Heat in 7. I got to go with my head here, my heart. would love to root against Boston, but I also really don't care for the Heat. So I got to go with my head. And what I've seen is the Boston Celtics. Everybody's talking about defense here, but the Boston Celtics have shut down the top two players in the Eastern Conference. And Jimmy Butler's a great player, but he's definitely a tier below those two guys. And while they do have some good role players, Strus and Hero, defensively, from everything I've seen from Boston, is that they pretty much shut everybody down. And then they have Tatum in there that's going to go ahead and close it down. I see Boston in 6. But, this one is a toss-up for me. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go to the Western Conference. Joey, Warriors, Mavs. Who you got?
Mavs in 6. I think Luka continues to streak. I have some qualms about Golden State, just on how they've kind of been up and down so far. I'm not overly impressed. Jordan Poole has not come along for the ride like he did when he kind of started. He's had really good games. He's also had some real bad games. I don't have a ton of trust in Clay right now. Steph is going to be Steph.
Game 6.
Yeah. But I don't trust him, consistently. Steph hasn't been his normal, awesome self. They got through Memphis, but I think that's different if Ja probably plays. Sure. And I just think Luka is on a tear right now. If they shoot like they did tonight, I don't see anybody stopping them. I think Luka's here, and I think he's our future. So, Mavs in 6.
Rich, let's go to you, man.
I'm going Mavs in 6 too.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I would have never, sorry to agree, but I would have never said this earlier in the season. I think it's also interesting that I think like the Mavs and the Celtics are on similar trajectories where they had bad starts. I would say bad, or at least rocky starts. And then they just kind of exploded, and their offenses are both they're both like top 10 in offense and defense, and they're both on rolls, especially definitely since the Mavs got Dinwiddie too. Luka's incredible. How are you going to stop him? Brunson's playing out of his mind. Spencer Dinwiddie's playing great too. And a lot like what Joey said, I don't trust the Warriors this year. I don't even trust Steph Curry that much right now. Like he's been playing amazing, but it's not like 2016 Steph Curry or 28. It's not the exact same. Clay is obviously not the same. I don't think with the Warriors, I'm not as worried. I think the Mavs are going to be able to handle them. I hope so too.
Chris?
Yeah. Well, the start of the playoffs, I picked Mavericks to come out of the West. I'm sticking to it. And Richie hit on a lot of the points I want to touch on with the Warriors, where Curry is averaging 26.9 points per game in the playoffs. He's been playing fantastic. The problem is there's not been like that Steph Curry game where you're like, oh my God, it's Steph Curry again, like what you saw in 2016. Klay Thompson has had what it's weird to say he's had one good game with game 6, but like I expect more out of him. And again, I'm just repeating your guys' points. Because Jordan Poole, he was looking good early, but he hasn't really come on late. And if I'm looking at Dinwiddie, Brunson, and Doncic, I kind of like that big three more than this big three, the way they've been playing right now. And then Maxi Kleber, I mentioned this prior we got on. I feel like he's kind of the Kristaps, what they wanted out of Kristaps, what they couldn't get. And that's what Kleber's given them. And then the X Factor and Dorian Finney-Smith against Wiggins. Honestly, I kind of want Dorian Finney-Smith over Andrew Wiggins. So give me the Mavs. I'm going to say in 7 just because I want to be a little different. Yeah.
I'll take the Warriors in 7.
Swerve.
There we go.
That's a swerve. I don't believe in the Mavericks yet. I mean, this is probably me being a little stubborn. Lucas.
I mean, you've had a tough weekend, great. So
I've had a tough weekend. So take a lot of L's here. But no, I don't know. I don't know if the Mavs have run up against a team yet. I mean, the Suns, I don't know. You know what I mean? The Suns kind of shit the bed. So
true.
That's the thing. That loss, and we mentioned
tough.
it. That loss was more on the Suns being bad than Dallas's defense, right? Dallas didn't do anything spectacular.
No,
the Suns were just missing shots.
And I don't think Golden State's going to miss the shots that the Suns missed. I just don't see Steph and Clay having that. If they're going to get open shots like they've been getting, I mean, same thing when they played Utah. Utah had a ton of open shots, missed open shots. Suns had a ton of open shots, missed open shots. somebody's going to start hitting these shots, and it's either going to be Golden State here or it's going to be Boston in the finals, I think. So, at some point that defense is going to is not going to work. And, Luka and the 3-point shooting is not going to be enough. So that's just kind of what I think. And, I'll take Golden State, but I'm going to love that matchup of Draymond versus Luka. I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah. It's going to be
a good matchup against.
We got good matchups because they're both. I mean, all 4 teams left are homegrown, quote unquote, right?
Yeah, I do think the Golden State Dallas series is going to be kind of similar to the Dallas Phoenix series, where you're going to have a lot of blowouts. I think so too. I think Miami Boston is going to be a lot closer.
We got to start redefining what a blowout is, because even when you're down by 12, you can cover that in like 3 minutes.
That's not a blowout. That's why I actually didn't think the second half of the Boston Bucks game was like that bad of a half, because I never counted the Bucks out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I did later. Come like mid-fourth, I did. But really, most of the third and like early fourth, I was like, hey, they could come back. Connaughton starts hitting shots and stuff. They could come back.
Honestly, even at halftime of the Phoenix-Dallas game, I was like, Phoenix, if they come out strong in this third, it's only 30 points. Like they could have a 15-point quarter here, and back to back, they can get right back into this thing. But I'm excited though, man. Tuesday is we got Miami and Boston. So
all right, nothing. Then Monday, nothing tomorrow.
Nothing tomorrow.
No, everyone's getting a rest day.
All right, and we'll probably be doing just weekly recaps. Then we're no immediate reactions. These is only 2 series, and then we'll be back for the finals and just doing immediate reactions. So very exciting. This one ran a little long, but a lot of good stuff to talk about.
Hey, we got a 3 up here. What's going on here?
Hey, if you're checking us out, thanks for joining us. Anything else before we wrap this up, guys?
Nope.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Rich. All right, well, that is it for us on our instant recap of the Game 7s this afternoon and evening. So we'll be back Wednesday to cover the Game 1s of the conference finals. So until next time, box out!